sound too, pretentious, but it feels great. It feels great because the things that were in my head are manifesting themselves in reality. And that's the thing about having faith in something. You don't know what it is till you see it. So it's like the faith is presenting itself as reality, and that feels amazing. It feels great. So the aim has always been to help people. People who are disenfranchised, people who are experiencing poverty, that was always the goal. How you can go about reaching people who are never interested in helping people, that was my goal. So campaigning for peace, right? That was always the motive, and that's what sort of drove me. Whatever capacity I could go about raising awareness of how we can help people was my goal. And so even if I would try something and it would fail, it's like, at least we did something. At least we did something, right? And it's needed, right? I don't know how other people do their work. For example, if you're, I don't want to talk about athletes, but say you're an athlete and you're solely, doing track for just doing track's sake. That's cool. I could have a passion behind that because unless I was utilizing that skill or that talent to help people, I wouldn't be able to do it. So it's like, I'm not an athlete, okay? I mean, I could be if I want to, but I'm not, right? So how can I utilize my skills to help people who need it the most? And so anything I do is in that vein. That was what helped me to continue on with the work. Each campaign was given to me by God, right? So I don't know what's happening next. It's not necessarily that calculated with when I come up with the idea. And even navigating it, the idea and putting it into fruition it's a scramble. It's a little bit of luck, a little bit of courage, a little bit of calculation, a lot of calculation actually. But it's all, you don't know how it's going to turn out. But like I said before, the key is the people. If the goal is to help the people, oftentimes it's successful because you're listening in to what the street's saying. You're listening in to the people who need the resources, what they need. For example, in this current campaign, I just got back from Ghana, West Africa. What's going on, guys? Kwabi here, and check this out. I am at the Mother Care Orphanage here in the central region of Ghana, and it's absolutely beautiful. Let me show you something. And it's not like I went over there and was like, okay, I'm gonna give you this, I'm gonna give you that. It was like, no, what do you guys need out here? And listening and hearing what resources they need, then I was able to create a successful campaign based around those resources. So it's always listening, right? Listening to the needs of the people in order to create a successful campaign. Don't reinvent the wheel. If you have an idea of how you want to help people, chances are online someone else has done it, or in the same vein. So if you're trying to help and get into humanitarian work, research what you're trying to do, find out who else is doing that kind of work, and then call them. And then through doing sort of like this learning from example, you'll learn how you can utilize your skills to maybe deviate from what they're doing and do something else. Maybe work under them. You might find your passion in working with them. Balancing it. I can tell you what allows me to sort of keep equilibrium within my mind, and that is fitness. And having meditation through the art of working out and exercising. I love to jump rope. I jump rope all the time, almost every single day. It's this meditative state and not thinking about what's going on in the world. You're just jumping and listening to the rope or listening to music. In this way, it sort of gets you out of the space of stress, gets you out of the space of the monotony of the day. I work out about 5 times a week. This is sort of what I did before I even started doing humanitarian work. There's a lot of ambition pent up. I've had to put it somewhere. And the cool thing about the gym is when you work out consistently, right? We were talking about consistency. When you work out, you see the results eventually. At first you don't see it, but if you keep at it, your muscles start growing, you start getting more definition. It's the same thing for humanitarian work, or for any work rather. You may not see the results right away, but if you keep at it, you'll eventually get the results. And I think that's what it's all about: tenacity, stick-to-itiveness. This is my whole world, man. This is all I think about, really. Yeah, I make time for my mom, make time for my brother. Make time for my best friends. I talk to my best friend every single day. Before you guys came here, I was on the phone with my best friend Austin. He lives in Colorado, and just to have that person you can bounce ideas off of, talk about anything under the sun, it's very important. Okay, maybe this is the thing then, because you have to take time, right? If I'm doing something that's quote unquote important, most times I'll put it to the side to speak with my best friend. That time is it's sacred time, right? And to infringe upon that sacred time, it's almost like I'm taking away from myself. So you need to have your sense of self and to have those boundaries to stay grounded with the people who really care about you, right? Not people who care about you because of what you do, right? That's a certain type of friend. But people who are for you just because they're for you. Keep those people around. Know the why, meditate on the why. Study your why. Let it be a philosophy for your life, not just your work. So receiving the Tacoma Peace Prize, this was an award that's given every year to someone who has spent their entire lives doing some sort of peace work and raising awareness of peace. And I was the youngest person to ever receive the award. And for me, it was an incentive to continue what I'm doing and sort of like planting a seed to have it keep on growing. Because being the youngest person to receive it's like, I was sort of astonished. I've been in this game of peace work for maybe 5 years or so. So I'm like, why am I receiving this like lifelong achievement award sort of deal? But I received it, and I'm using it as a way of creating more of a platform to help people. And being invited to attend the Nobel Peace Prize ceremony was the most humbling experience I've ever had. So I was expecting to go to the Nobel Peace Prize and be amongst, politicians and world leaders and celebrity folks, and they're there too. But there's a time in the Nobel Peace Prize before they actually do the ceremony where everyone that's involved in the ceremony, they're in a big room. And you go around and you meet people, and there's like bricklayers and teachers, like elementary school teachers and construction workers, and then you find, the politicians and world leaders, and they're all here for peace. And so you get to learn what each individual is doing for the global perspective of peace. It's very humbling, man. They do a really good job of the diversification of those who are working for peace in that ceremony. It's beautiful. The message is that we can highlight people who are doing good work. Our world is very strange in that way. People who are notorious get a lot of recognition. People who are doing work for senselessness oftentimes get recognition. But the idea, for example, they created the mural with my face on it, and it says peace. I imagine young people, young African American people, young people of color to see that, and it's a mural. I'm not dead yet, and it's about peace. To think, oh, maybe I could do something different, right? You don't necessarily have to be an athlete or an entertainer or do something bad or get killed to have a mural of yourself. You can do good work. So my hope is that people who support me will in fact look within themselves to think, well, what can I do to show love and compassion, understanding, empowerment? Empowerment's huge, because if you don't feel empowered, you'll feel like you can't do anything. When I was in West Africa recently, I went to an orphanage called Mother's Care Orphanage. It's up in the hills in this area, the central region of Ghana, right? It's a beautiful orphanage. It sounds weird to even say that in one sentence, but it was a beautiful orphanage, right? And I told the kids, I was like, chant with me these very important sentences. The first one I had them say is, I am great. So Martin Luther King talks about not letting anyone take your somebodyness. You are somebody no matter what. You have the potentiality to do whatever you want to do because you're a human being, right? The second thing is, I am powerful. So understand you're great. And through that greatness, you have the power to make change, you have the power to do great things, right? And then the third thing is, I am peaceful. So being powerful, great. If you're not working towards the betterment of human beings, what is it? It's nothing, right? It's literally nothing. You can be great. If you're not using your greatness in order to help others, I don't see the means towards it. So all those things are so important that they're collected together and utilized together. Don't be afraid to be unique only you can be your best self, truthfully, utilize your skills to help people, you're gonna feel fulfilled. Love is always important. Love is always the right choice. So anytime you're spreading love, you're adding to the fabric of human progress. And I feel like it's the most beautiful thing in the entire world. Human progress is what I'm here for. That's what I hope that the next generation's about. Don't be afraid to speak out. Don't be afraid to do that. Speak your truth and speak it forever.